Over the next several weeks, we're going to be talking about graphing our trig functions. And periodically throughout the chapter, we're going to use some technology to help us learn about the graphs. And I'm going to want you to begin to get comfortable using either your graphing calculator, or if you don't own a graphing calculator, using DESMOS, which can be found on a computer, or it could be downloaded to your phone as a really nice app. Now, on your computer, if you go to DESMOS.com, or if you download the app, you have an option to be able to choose a graphing calculator, which on the computer takes you to desmos.com/calculator. I just wanted to show you that if you type in the sine of x, if you just literally type in y equals the sine of x, you get the sine wave that we graphed in our previous lesson. Pretty sharp, pretty nice, but there's just one thing about this graph, and that is that it's in radians. So we're going to want to get comfortable changing the settings. If you just go over here to this little settings wrench, you'll see that at the bottom we can change it to degrees, and which is also going to require us to change some numbers on the x-axis. I'm going to recommend that we go from -360 to 360. So you want to change that. And then for the y-axis, we'll go from -4 to 4. The reason for that is because that'll match nicely with the graphing calculator. Now, this little change that we made in the settings, you're going to need to always do, but you only have to do it one time before you use DESMOS. And if you just click off of that, you can see we still have the sine wave, but now the numbers on the graph are actually in degrees. And we can see some of the numbers that we got yesterday, and the graph, of course, ends out here at 360 degrees. Now, that's using DESMOS. The other tool, for those that own a graphing calculator, will also allow you to graph the sine wave. And just in the same way, I want you to get comfortable with it and to play around a little bit. Here, if we just turn the calculator on, we can push the y equals button, which will take you to a screen where you can type in equations. In this case, I want you to type in the sine of x. The x button is actually this button here that's beside the green alpha button. So we can just type in y equals the sine of x. And there's one other thing that we have to be aware of. Just like with DESMOS, you want to make sure that you're in degree mode. So we can hit the mode button. And then lastly, we'll want to change the numbers to go from -360 to 360. Nice thing is the calculator has a shortcut key for that. It's the zoom trig button. If you just slide down here to zoom 7, it'll automatically change your calculator screen so that the numbers go from -360 to 360. And just in the same way, you get the graph of the sine wave. So get comfortable with either the graphing calculator or DESMOS, and be ready to use that periodically throughout the next couple weeks as we continue to learn about the trig graphs.